This is Rishikesh Writings, and we are welcoming you in a 2025 International Yoga Festival. We are with Shiva Rea. So last day she played a very beautiful drum on the stage of the Paramath Niketan Ghat, and let's know about her and in her journey toward the yoga and coming toward the Rishikesh Maganga. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. So how this journey started, the yoga to Rishikesh?
Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to be very sincere and even to pay respects to the great Sampradaya here in India. And if we go back to the Upanishads, it starts from a seed. And that seed was my father giving me my name. And it kind of literally, he was a surfer, and it came to him when he was driving home from my birth, and he saw the moonlight shimmering on the water, and he remembered about Nataraja and seeing this, everything is interconnected, even from inhale to exhale, the Dhammaru, Shiva Shakti, but also samhara. It's very, very difficult, the suffering. It's very hard to understand. And so I had that kind of initiation from birth of a seed bija. And in the beginning, it was always by the ocean for the first 4.5 years of my life. I never went to even the city, just only having this darshan of Rema Shakti. And my parents were very natural, so they weren't about any belief, more almost like Advaita Vedanta, more about the truth of nature. So that they intentionally gave me space to find what was in my heart. But we moved to Berkeley and Oakland during the time of a lot of what was the beginning of yoga. With like the same time of the Beatles here, 1971. And there was a lot of protest, and there was a lot of very destructive. There was the Vietnam War, there was a lot of death, and so we moved into the urban area from this experience of just being on the ocean. And I experienced at a very young age the contrast, what happens when we pave over the earth, what happens when we don't care for each other. I taken to protests, and so I think then it prepared me. You are a strong
activist.
Well, in the kind of way that I've come to appreciate in the bhakti aspect, also in Shiva Shakti bhakti. Because if we fast forward, I started to want to know more about my name. And I would look in different books and it would say, Lord of Destruction first. And I would be like, why am I named this name? But gradually in my own body, I just came to experience, my parents couldn't stop me dancing. Anytime there's music, I just have to dance. And so there was not many outlets at that time for me to study dance. But I just kept dancing and dancing as a child. Then I went into athletics, still burning inside that there could be a sacred movement, because that's what I was feeling inside me. And so slowly I was in the library as a teenager, just searching, not really knowing, and I found my first classical Hatha Yoga in the Himalayan tradition of Swami Rama. And then also I read Living with the Himalayan Masters.
And he wrote 2 books like Path of Fire and Path of Light.
Yes, and Paramahamsa Yogananda. And so at that time I was about 13. and nobody around me. There was not a yoga class anywhere. And then this like fire awakened in me, and I became a vegetarian. I don't know why. Just all these changes only from this kind of svadiksha. And gradually I found one yoga class on Saturday at a health food store. It was only one class in the whole town, only on Saturday. And I would ride my bike there, 14 miles there and 14 miles back. And so that fire brought me to India to do service work, brought me to India to go to Delhi University, and my education is in world arts and cultures. So I went all the way to the master's level, really focusing on the power of movement meditation. And so it was really the flowering of this experience of this seed consciousness, the greatness in a way of the bhakti aspect, that it can happen to anyone around the world, particularly when you're a child, that you fall in love with God. And maybe around you, you don't see what the path is for you, but like a seed that gradually grows roots. And so I started my first meditation diksha when I was 16, and then that was what catalyzed me first in seva and meditation, not much asana, which is funny, right? And then I discovered Krishnamacharya's lineage, and I went to Mysore and into Chennai, and I studied with so many of the master teachers in that lineage. And the main thing of Krishnamacharya was yoga for all, but we must respect our doshas. Not one type of yoga for everybody.
Like every human beings have a hand, palm, but they have a different fingerprints.
Yes.
So that's why the different like path is one, but there is a way is different.
Yes, and so when I saw that, and to also touch the roots, I became a student of Kalaripayattu, which is this oldest Indian classical martial art. And we always practice on the raw earth. We're constantly touching the earth. Yeah. So it started to change. What I was practicing was different than what people were studying in the West. There's so much benefit to physical asana. I really like to have a strong, like they say, the Vajra body, but not for how it looks, for what it awakens, and also the respect it gives us for our health and vitality. But what I want to say is that once I became a mother, again Ma Shakti initiated me. And that's where what I offer as prana flow or prana vinyasa. Our school is called the Samudra Global School of Living Yoga. It's open to all beings. And it's a very small school. We used to have, before COVID, so many satellite in so many parts of the world. So now we're kind of serving teachers more online in their Svadharma. And so we're here, called back to Rishikesh to be part of this amazing gathering and to serve the roots of yoga and to feel that from a seed we can branch. And if there's any fruit, it belongs back to the source.
So it means like you get the knowledge from India, and now you're giving back to the India.
Yes, I feel that way, and very much in terms of respecting tradition, without feeling, how should we say, following blindly, because that's not yoga. Yoga is actually our viveka, our discernment. We must have this to find the path. We have to use our instincts. It's not that we become, sheep. Yoga awakens that fire of consciousness, and I have found it to be true. Wherever I travel in India, there's so many amazing bhaktas, amazing vaidyas, jyotisha, gurus, saints, and they might be in the form of an old woman with one tooth. Hanging out in the back of a temple.
Everything is a teacher. In every corner you will find a teacher in India.
This is it.
What you thought about these days people doing a different kind of experiments in yoga, like people use another substances, including
Sure.
they put it. This is also yoga. So what you would like to say to those?
Yeah, I think that there's a great responsibility
Yeah.
if we are going to be part of a tradition. And I've had this experience myself by looking at what was happening in my community. Like for instance, that pranamasana was missing.
Yeah.
Like normally when we see the Surya Namaskar asana, there's a Ashtanga Namaskar, but then it goes into Bhujangasana.
Yeah.
But I started to feel like that I needed to be in pranamasana to receive the wisdom from Devi, actually. I would come out of an asana and I would see her feet and I would not move. I would go into samadhi. And it made me realize that yoga should be serving, namaste should be serving this natural ability we have to come into a state of unified consciousness. So for me, if we're going to add something, it should come from Devi herself. It should come from a feeling that, why add pranamasana? Maybe my teachers weren't doing that. But if I go back farther, then it is the very essence of namaskar. We're missing that essence. So maybe Devi is awakening that in me to at least bring pranamasana. So it's a kind of, sometimes it seems like maybe we don't see it for this 30 years, but we might have seen it in 9th or 10th century Khajuraho.
Yeah.
We might have seen more of this devotional
more,
movement with asanas.
We see more, it's called a Yogini temple.
Exactly. That's where my gurus are also, in Madhya Pradesh and in Hirapur. We see a lost tradition that had to go underground.
What is the importance of Rishikesh and Ganga in your life, and why the people should come to Rishikesh?
Well, like Kashi, which is where I spend most of my time when I'm in the north,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable to think that these great beings have been here for thousands of years. Even if we don't go back that far, we think of Shankaracharya coming from the south, or we, can imagine that Paramahamsa Yogananda, Anandamayi Ma, Neem Karoli Baba were visiting Swami Shivananda. And then for me, in these times, I feel Puja Swami and Puja Sadhvi are this ocean of love and the essence of Rishikesh. And the fact that you can come here every night and be part of the arati, be part of the homa, go to satsang. It's free for all. It's a tremendous beacon of really the essence of knowledge should be uplifting humanity, not just humanity, all of our creation. And so I come here now to spend as long as I can close to Puja Swami, because just the way he walks upon the earth, his living example with Sadhvi, Ji, wherever they go, they're hands-on, they're teaching all of us. If we want to see a world with greater respect and ecology and the beauty of nature, we're going to have to roll up our sleeves. We're going to have to get down and pick up some trash. We're going to have to feel how our teachers are asking us to step up, protect knowledge, apply knowledge. So this is what happened to me with this drumming style. I've always felt the power of rhythm, but then I really wanted to study in this lineage form called Chenda from Kerala. So in my life I like to do the two, go deep in a tradition, and at the same time feel what is universal, like just clapping our hands, spreading joy, playing rhythm together, So I've been working this way for about 15 years in movement with various instruments, but only the last year and a half 5 years with rhythm sticks, but only the last year and a half with Chenda. So we decided 5 days before the festival that my teachers happened to be nearby, something canceled. So we made it happen 5 days to come to be able to offer this here.
Yeah, it was nice to see you here on the International Yoga Festival.
Yes.
We wish you will guide the youth of the
Yes.
Mother Earth.
Thank you so
Your
much.
teachings.
God bless
Namaste.
your practice and
Namaste.
your